Okay, so I'm going to bring up the questions submitted by clients, and this is going to be really exciting. There are 3 clients that we will work with today. Okay, so we are here, and this is from Johanna. So I'm going to start with Johanna, and I love clients who take action like this. A big shout out to Johanna is that it's easy for me to work with clients based on what they do. They take action and they say, hey, I'm sort of stuck. What should I go from here? So it's easy to coach that way rather than, imaginary type of business that it's hard for us to dissect it and figure out how to do it well. So let's look here, okay? So Johanna, short history, a very short one if you're just here. Her business is going to be in the digital e-commerce business where she's going to empower more women and of course other people including men on how they can build better relationship with others in terms of persuasion, in terms of getting people to like you better. Because it's actually the relationship, the persuasion, the influence that you can build upon another person in order for you to achieve what you want in life in that sense. And of course, she's going to be covering on building business and so on because she herself is a successful business woman and entrepreneur of her own industry. So she's developing a course. It's going to be called Likeable Formula. But before that is being created, she also spin off and do a book, right? Which is very interesting because she now starts writing a book. I think it's almost completed. So right now it's like now it's time to, hey, how do I start promoting myself? Like how do I put onto the internet? Like, I have this, what's next? So this is what she submitted and this is what I'm going to suggest her to do from here. So hi Patrick, I prepared 4 videos below but didn't do any giveaway ebook for the topic. It's more for affiliate of your programs and also topics on how to exit or remodel your business for this phase 1. So there's a link there. I did not put the link here because it doesn't make sense for you to download her videos. Then she has her page set up. This is her page, right? It's all completed. She actually took the time to polish it and do it, not just putting up a page, and we'll go through the page later on. And third point, my second phase will be towards my how an ordinary person can become likable and persuasive, how to build rapport in 4 seconds, ebook quite done for both. And again, it's still all over the place with those ingredients. And that's why I come into the picture that so that if you're all over the place, let me help you to model it and put it, step, like how do you go from here in that sense. So this is all exciting. So she has 4 videos that she has created. One, she did an interview with me, and now she has 4 videos. So Johanna, this is what I will suggest you to do. This is how I will coach you from here onwards. Remember this progressive coaching, which means that I don't expect you to get everything done, like in a month or something like that. So in 2 weeks' time, we'll have another session, and I'll help you to move forward from here, right? But let's go to your fan page. Let's go to your fan page. And you already have what you need to play this game. So this is Johanna fan page, right? She hasn't promoted, that's why you don't see anything here right now. Okay, so she done this video, nicely done. The captivating video that I've been teaching everybody to do if you want to be a public figure, get things done, and she gets things done. Nice picture, perfect. And then she put some posts, right? So she put 2 or 3 posts, and that's all right because she's not promoting it yet. And I like this video. Started with a content video for 3 minutes, but she hasn't promoted it yet, and that's totally okay. So you are already on a good starting point right now, and this is what I would do if this is mine because I know you're on track. So now you have to just plan out your schedule when you want to so-called launch it, which means that when you are ready to launch, it means that you have something to monetize, and this is where you will start to promote your fan page, right? So you got 4 videos that you have created, right? So these videos will be your content. Now I'm going to go ahead and do some drawing so that you can understand what I'm about to teach you here right now. Let me just pull up drawings for you. I'm going a bit fast because I am very excited about what's happening here. Like I said, I love it when clients take action and do something. It gets me really excited. So the model is very simple. You have your page. Okay, let me just draw this out. So this is your fan page, right? So I'm just going to call it Facebook for our reference. Okay, so now it's empty because you haven't started to promote it yet. Now, before you want to start promoting your page, you got to have a business model, in a sense that you're not going to go out there and produce content and just and boost and promote your content, because then you're gonna lose money, and that's not your intention. Your intention is to start a business so that you can generate income. So how you're going to do that? Now, what you want to do is that you want to start planning when you want your product to be ready. So the purpose of why you are going to promote your page is because you have an offer. Okay, now the question is that, what is my offer? I don't have my product ready yet and so on, and that's okay. So what you do is that you can get your name, let's say is johanna.com, but of course it's taken, but I'm just giving an example. You get a domain name. It can still be likable formula, but I would keep that for your real product that you wanted to do. So I'll do this first. What I'll do is that I'll have a domain name, and this offer is where I'm going to give the 4 videos for free. Okay, I'm just going to give you a really simple model. These 4 videos for free. You see, you cannot go out there and do social media if you have nothing to sell. I mean, that's my model. I know there are many social media gurus that tell you to go and put content out every day and so on. I just don't feel secure by doing that. I want to make sure that I do something I can make money. So your offer is basically a landing page. Get this, a landing page where you tell them that if they subscribe, they get these 4 videos for free. And these are the 4 videos with real content, which you have interviewed someone successful, or they could be also the video that you created yourself, like you record the content. Now, of course, I know one of the videos is me being interviewed, but the other 3 videos, I'm not too sure exactly what are those videos, but I'm guessing those could be other interviews or they are content. So now, this page that you have, which is the offer, is telling them, hey, register right now so that you get this content, and so that you get all the future videos that we are releasing for free. Now, that is the trigger. Now, I say for free is because on your page here, you'll be releasing more videos. So it's okay for you to promise them that, hey, I'm going to give you more videos because after all, you're going to be adding more videos anyway, right? So what you're doing right now is that you launch your page and you're building your mailing list, right? And what you do with your mailing list is that you're going to promote affiliate programs to generate income, to give you the so-called first round of motivation that you can start making money. But you're not going to be a pitch person and go there, hey, you could buy this and so on. You don't have to do that, because the videos will lead to the offer. So let's say there's a video teaching about, I'm just going to make this up, right? Like for instance, the content that you did with me, right? So what happened is that you can say at the end of that, hey, I just finished a workshop by Patric, and he teach so much about social media, and I think that you have to learn about social media at this moment of time. It's crazy if you're not doing anything with Facebook at this moment of time, and so forth, right? And then you can just say, hey, if you want to learn from my mentor, here's the link to check it out, right? And that is your affiliate link. When they click, they go to the page, and if the page converts, you have just made affiliate commissions, right? It's really that easy to start making money. We are trying to be a pitch person. Now, but it doesn't stop there, because now they are in your mailing list. So here you go. This is your mailing list, right? Okay, I'm just going to call it list after they subscribe. Now, the thing is that what you should be doing is that you build your mailing list. But what you do is that you don't send them the 4 videos right away. So when they subscribe, they receive the first video. And this first video, you set up a web page, right? So then you have this web page, you have this video content or whatever content that you want to give. Then below that is going to be linked to the product that is related to this video. So in this case, in this specific case, if this content is my video, then obviously she should have a link, an affiliate link to my program, so that she can earn affiliate commissions, right? And because it's my content, therefore it makes sense to promote my product. When I use the word my, I'm sure referring to Patric. I'm not referring to me in that sense, right? So the trick is that whatever the content is about, the video is about, you're going to suggest to them something that is related to it for further learning, further education, or a better system to solve whatever thing that's being taught in the video. So in this case, right, technically, you will at least have 1, 2, 3, 4 emails, right? Because you have 4 pieces of content, which means you have 4 chances to monetize your leads. But what I will do is that after this email goes out, I'll have in between a follow-up email, So you have another follow-up email here, follow-up, which means, let's say this video is about the interview that Johanna have with me, right? That interview is done. And now the follow-up email will be say, hey, would you want to know about Patric's program, right? Then this is where it's a promotion email. This is a promotion email, and then there's another follow-up here. This will be a promotional email, and then there's another follow-up here. So in total, in this sequence, there will be 8 emails, 4 pieces of content, and 4 promotion. So this is set in a way that is sequential, it's fully automated, that she doesn't have to do anything. So Joanna, you don't have to do anything when you set up these emails. So now you can go out there and promote your fan page, right? We're not going to talk about how to promote fan page here because there will be like way too much things to put on you at this moment of time, but that will be the next step. Now, why we're doing all of this is because let's pull up your details that you sent over. So you mentioned here your second phase is that you have all these other cool stuff that you wanted to do, right? So what you're doing right now, you're doing these 2 parts here, these 2 things that you share with me. I've just put it together for you. You're doing these 2 parts so that you're preparing your audience, you're building your brand and all this kind of good stuff for the second phase. All right. Okay, so you got this, like, the whole big picture, the idea, and also the tactical approaches on how to monetize and so on. Johanna, you got all of those. Kok Fu, can we subscribe constant contact to create a newsletter for content on the landing page to acquire customer email to get the offer? The answer is yes, you can use constant contact. For me, I use Aweber, but you can use any other autoresponder that you like. So you can do that, you can put up that and get people to subscribe. But if you want someone to subscribe to your newsletter, it has to be more compelling and thoughtful so that they would see, hey, it's worthwhile for me to exchange my email for your content. But just putting out a web page and say, hey, there's free newsletter, it may not work that well anymore in today's time because it's quite competitive. Like everyone is trying to build their mailing list in that sense. So in this case, in this model right now for Johanna's coaching, is that she's giving away 4 videos, which is X amount of hours, right, in order for someone to subscribe for free. Okay, so we're just gonna go ahead and move to the second one right now. So this is from Eric, right? So Eric Kui. Hi, Sifu Patric. We had drafted an ad to promote a video post. Okay, so a quick rewind for Eric's project. So we have gone through a lot of progressive coaching, right, Eric? So he was doing a blog and everything else. So in short, I've changed, I've consulted, I've coached, and tell Eric, hey, you know what? What you should be doing right now is to focus on building the fan page and targeting parents and have an angle where it's more of an inspirational kind of fan page to get attention, because that is the kind of fan page that go viral, where people like to share because it touched the heart and because it's about children, right? So that is in summary. So now let's look at Eric's project. So I am going to read again. Hi, Sifu Patric. We had drafted an ad to promote a video post. We did not use boost posts but created a new ads campaign. Below are our settings. Engagement ads, 28 to 50 years old, all gender, covers Selangor, Kuala Lumpur, and Putrajaya. We tried all of Malaysia, but the suggested daily budget was RM165, but we changed to RM50 daily budget. Fifth, placement is automatic. We're going to run it for 5 days beginning next week, Monday to Friday, because on weekends we think most parents will be busy, right? So questions, what is your advice on the ad settings? Okay. Next questions, would you recommend that we create an ad to promote a post? Example, DIY magnetic fishing toy, or create a new ad with the same video as in the post, DIY magnetic fishing toy. So there's another one here. Our current objective to run an ad is to attract more traffic by just promoting an existing post, or should we just proceed to our next plan, that is to run an ad to give out free gift? So I'm going to teach you more on strategic point, Eric, rather than trying to troubleshoot the question by questions, if that's okay. So the first thing is that before you want to spend even the first cent or the first dollar on Facebook ads, you gotta have a system, right? So the system is this, right? Basically, the whole concept is this: is that before you get into social media, you gotta have a way to monetize it. So whatever that you want to do, my question to you is that you must have either one of these options. First option is that, do you have something to sell at this moment of time, right? The second question is that if you do not have, do you have a plan for you to sell 30 days from now? So if you don't have something to sell right now, that's okay, because you start to build your brand, you start to build your audience, and so on, so that 30 days later on, you can monetize it. And sometimes social media requires that. It requires you to, to build the engagement and so on. Then you monetize it. So doesn't matter whether it's DIY magnetic fishing toy or whether it's your free gift, doesn't matter. But what would you want to do, right? What would you want to do? Would you want to sell the magnetic fishing toy, or you want to promote your free gift, or you want to do both? If you want to do both, that's okay. So you just need to plan it out, because the same audience that you build, just think as your audience as in your mailing list, right? It doesn't mean that you can only offer one program to them. It doesn't mean you can sell only one product to them. You can sell both if you want to. You see where I'm coming from? So you have to decide that before you plan everything else. Otherwise, you're just going to run ads and get engagement and all this kind of stuff. Then you're going to lose money. Okay? Now, with that said, all right, let's look more on your tactical aspect. You should not run engagement ads, you should run video views. Engagement ads will give you the lowest cost, but they will give you not so quality traffic. Okay. Then for the age 28 to 50, is there a point where you want to have 28 to 50? I mean, for me, I would just probably do maybe 25 to 64, something like that, because everyone is a potential customer for my niche. I mean, if I'm doing this niche, if I'm doing about spending time with children, right? Because the 55 years old person could be a grandma, right? A young grandma who saw your video and like it and share with her children. You see where I'm coming from? You just have to let Facebook to decide your audience in that sense. So you want to keep it broad in that sense, right? And all genders, okay? And cover Selangor, Kuala Lumpur, Putrajaya. I wouldn't do that because I'm building a virtual business and will probably hit all major cities. I will put if you're targeting Malaysia, I'll put like maybe Johor, Penang. I mean, you're not restricted demographically. You see where I'm coming from, right? And in terms of the daily budget, you don't have to follow their daily budget. You use a daily budget that you're comfortable with. Okay, but of course, before you run ad, you gotta have a monetization strategy behind that. Placement, I may not use automatic. Why? It depends on what you want to achieve in order for you to know what kind of placement you should do. Are you trying to get conversions, or you just want to get video views because you are building an audience? So if I am running an ad solely for the purpose of building video views so that I can do retargeting, I don't care where it is. I'll just do placement everywhere. You see where I'm coming from? But if my goal is for engagement, where I want people to like, to share, and so on, I would choose the placement where it is more convenient for someone to like and to share. So it depends on that. Runs for 5 days, beginning of next week, Monday to Friday. I won't do that. I will just do like 7 days, because weekends is where people have leisure time, and that's where they spend on their Facebook browsing and so-called wasting time, right? So I wouldn't deduct that away. I wouldn't scrap that away. I would put like every day. And after all, Facebook would know when is the best time for me in that sense. Okay. So that's how I would remodel the whole thing. And it's so great that you are on this coaching session. Do you see that almost every single of the setting can be optimized, right? So imagine the difference of having a mentor, having a coach, and do not have one. Many people are still puzzled about how to build an internet marketing business because they try to maybe save $100, right, and not get into a coaching program and try to figure this out on themselves. And right, the final point that you have here, the free gift is supposed to build virality for you so that you can get people to share. And because you are in the niche of parenting children and so on, it's a niche where everyone can accept it, in a sense that everyone can be a so-called prospect. So it's important for you to build that kind of momentum, viral, and so on. Like in my niche, it won't work because not everybody wants to learn about internet marketing. You see where I'm coming from, right? Not everybody wants to learn how to do Facebook or digital marketing and so on, right? Okay, so you sort of know where we're coming from. So in short, your homework, so to speak, is you got to figure out what is your offer, right? Then you can go ahead and run your ads to start to build your audience and so on. Then you come on the next coaching session and we'll figure out on how to work on your offer. But you're gonna get all the details ready. Okay? It's fine if you start running on video views. You're not going to lose anything because you need some time for it to build out anyway. So you can end up spending let's say 50 ringgit per day. Let's say you do that, you end up spending for 10 days, you spend 500, but you build out your audience, you build out social proof and so on, because after all, your page needs to have the social proof anyway. And that doesn't mean that you cannot offer something. You can still offer something later on to them. Okay, so anyone have any questions based on this consulting and coaching? Okay, so we have one from Hadi. Any recommended placement if want the audience to take action, like click send message button? Yes. It's more important to choose the objective, not on the placement. So the objective has to be send message so that Facebook will do the optimization for you, and they actually decide for you which placement will allow the send message button to appear. Now, just so you know, I'm not a Facebook guru. I'm more as a digital marketing expert and internet entrepreneur, but I know so much about Facebook because that's what I do. I advertise on Facebook for my own business. So that's how I know. I mean, I don't teach like how to run ads on Facebook because that will be a very meticulous topic because it changes all the time. So if you're on a coaching program like this, then of course, whatever I know, I'll be sharing with you whenever you have questions, okay? All right, so let's move to the other ones from KM Tan. All right, so I'm also very excited with KM Tan's inquiry because I'm assuming that you're working on a book right now. And it always excites me when I know my clients are taking action, you see. Okay, dear Patrick, may I know the tips and tricks of creating a book with CreateSpace? Okay, so I use CreateSpace for my print on demand, POD, which means that with createspace.com, I could sell my book to everyone around the world. So CreateSpace belongs to Amazon, which means that fulfillment is done by Amazon for you. So whenever you get a sale, you can go to CreateSpace.com, place an order for X amount of dollars, and then they'll do the shipping for you, right? So it's really good business, right? You don't have to keep stock and so on. So actually, with CreateSpace, it's so straightforward. Cam, once you have your manuscript ready, just go to createspace.com and register for free, and it's very self-explanatory. The good news is that at this moment of time, if I'm not mistaken, you don't even need to do fancy formatting anymore. In the past, we need to have certain type of file in order to be submitted. I think right now, even with just Microsoft Words, or I think PDF, they will be able to convert that into the book to be print. Okay. The so-called tip is actually use CreateSpace. That is actually the tip rather than print your own books and all this kind of stuff. Unless you are working with a publisher, that's a whole different story. Okay. So the next question is there any tips on how to make the book a bestseller, right? So of course we always want to aim to become a best-selling book. So are you referring to like international bestseller or you're referring to like nationwide bestseller? Because if you're asking me how to become like international bestseller, I don't have the answer, and many people won't even have the answer because to become international bestseller, you need to sell I think 200,000 to 300,000 copies of books. And the trade secret in this industry, just so you know, I mean, it's my secret coaching program. I'm just gonna tell you that I'm not gonna name names, but those people who become best-selling authors, they work with a consulting company where they have to pay X amount of dollars, maybe 50,000 US dollar or 100,000 US dollar, something like that, so that this company will go out there and make things happen for them, right? So that's a whole different thing. So I'm not too sure what kind of best selling you're referring to, but I'm going to assume. So I'm assuming that you are talking about Amazon best selling book or local best-selling book because both of them probably use the same strategy. Now, of course, if you need to be a best-selling book, this goes without saying that your book has to be a good book, right? And I'm going to have the assumption that you have a good book, like the content is solid, is good, that people like it, right? I mean, we can't sell stuff that is not adding value to people's life, right? I mean, that's just not the way how I teach. So I'm going to assume that your book is good. So there are two ways of you to go around to turn a book to become a best-selling book. It's either that you throw a launch campaign or you start building your own followers very, very heavily at this moment of time, right? So it's either one of those. But for me, I will actually use both, right? Which means that I will build my own followers, I'll build my own list, I'll build all of those, and I will also get help with promotions like joint venture partners and so on. So I'm going to summarize this a bit so that you can sort of get a big picture. Then once you have your manuscript ready, have inside CreateSpace, I can just help you to review more things and so on. Okay. So the first few things is that like for me, like when I go for Amazon best-selling book like in the Kindle category, the whole thing is that you just need to push all together, like put all the your ammo together and launch it. And if you are the top in your category, you go to become a best-selling book inside Amazon Kindle. And when you appear there at top 10 there, then Amazon will actually push your book up because they want to generate the sales as well. Because the more books you sell, the more money they make because they are your publishing partner. Now, so strategically, the whole thing is that you just need to think of this. Whatever resources that you have, you are just going to save it all up for one day of promotion. Like for me, when I promote that, I promote on social media, I build a mobile app, I promote to my mailing list, I do all of those to hit a best-selling book. And like those who hit like New York Times best-selling book, like Tim Ferriss, Gary Vaynerchuk, and so on, they really go all out, right? What do they go out? They use all their influence, all of their brand, from Facebook, from Instagram, and so on, and then they throw a campaign. They say that, hey, if you buy 10 copies, you get to come to my seminar, right? If you buy 100 copies, you have lunch with me or whatever it is. So what is happening is that the tactic is that you're not trying to get a person to buy a book anymore. You're trying to get a person to buy 10 copies. So in that process, it's as if that you get 10 people to buy the books. You see, you see the whole thing? Because they count by the book sales, they don't count by the person. So again, this is why in our little dark secret, so to speak, is like most best-selling books were not best-selling books. They engage a consulting company, an agency to make this happen. And they take like a big sum of money out, like 50,000 US dollar or something like that, and get 100,000 books to be purchased, right? And this consulting company will have the resource, make the magic happens, right? So I think that if you want to hit a best-selling book, the first thing you need to do, which I've been teaching all this time, is start to build your asset right now and build your brand right now. If you start doing that, you attract your followers and you build a list. I know it's a lot of work, which leads to the next question. Why would you want to have a best-selling book, right? Is that going to help you to bring more money, to generate more sales? Now, I do not know the answer. I seriously do not know. Like for me, I don't think having a title of a best-selling author, like a New York Times best-selling author, will help me to make 100,000 US dollar. So I'm not going to spend 50,000 US dollar to have that done in that sense, because I would think if I want to make 100,000 US dollar, maybe I don't have to spend the 50,000 US dollar. I could just do something else to make that. So you have to fall back to your objective. But if it's like your personal passion that, hey, I just got to have this, like this title, right? Then maybe it's worth for you to go and do all of those. But keep in mind that if you were to do all of those, right, instead of promoting a book to become a best-selling book, like what Johanna is doing, she'll probably make so much more money by selling courses or just being an affiliate marketer than trying to promote a book in that sense, right? So you just have to decide on that. There's no right or wrong, but what's your business model? The next strategy is basically is to use money in terms of doing a launch contest, and we have done that as well. So like for instance, when we wanted to, and now I'm talking about the local market, okay? So when we want to make our book a best-selling book in the local market, what we do is that we were paying, I think, that time was not so expensive. I think we were paying like a ringgit, whichever world that you're from, whichever country you're from, let's say $1 in that sense, right? So we're paying like a ringgit for an email address. So we run an affiliate program and we say, hey, if the affiliate get anyone to request for, I think it was a free chapter or something like that, right? Or some free course, then we'll pay a ringgit. So let's say the affiliate brings in like 500 leads, then the affiliate just make 500 without even doing any promotion or sales, right? So we build a big list that process, and then we promote to that list and say, hey, now the book is available in the local bookstore. Please go to the bookstore and buy right now. So we just move it all through the internet and through mailing lists in that process. Now, if you want to enhance it better, that you have the budget, then all these affiliates of yours, right, you will pay them handsomely to help you promote, right? Of course, once you get things done, we can discuss more on the marketing and so on the next session for that matter. But I want to address your other question here. Do you have any good local publisher to recommend? And normally, what is the minimum order quantity? Thanks. This is from KM Tan. So in terms of the local publishing business, there are actually two different models. One model is you get a publisher, and one model is you do self-publishing. So both has its pros and cons. The thing is that if you want a publisher, you got to have a brand, a name, in order for them to publish for you. Why? Simply because a publisher lose money by publishing your book. Why? Because they are the one who is paying for the books, right? So let's say you have a publisher. They will say, okay, I'm going to run for 1,000 copies. So in this case, there's no MOQ, there's no minimum order quantity, because they are the one who is forking out their investment on you, on banking on the fact that your book can sell so that they can make money. So usually in that model, they will even pay the author, like, X amount of thousands as like a fee for owning the rights of the book. So in that process, you have zero risk, but you lose the rights of your book, which means that you cannot go and print yourself and sell. If you want your book, you need to buy from the publisher back at a discounted price, and they allow you to sell. So that is that model. The other model is not a publisher anymore. The other model is self-publishing. With self-publishing, there's no MOQ. You are the one who prints out. So you just need to find a printing company and work with them what is the most cost effective. Obviously, the more you print, the cheaper it gets, because in the printing industry, technically what they do is they build a mold for your book. So the mold will cost you X amount of money, and then they'll charge you per print of the book. So if you print less book, then it becomes more expensive per unit in that calculation, right? Now, self-publishing would means that you get to keep all of the profit because it's yours, but you probably gonna have a hard time to have your books appear in the local bookstores, right? Because book promoters, they don't simply accept books to be promoted, and book promoters take a big chunk of profit from you, which means you're going to make loss. So how do you decide where to go from? Well, it goes back to your business, what you're trying to achieve by having your book in the local bookstore. Are you trying to build a brand, or are you trying to use a lead generator? Are you trying to make money by selling books? Where do you want to go from here? Of course, the answer is that I want to have all. Well, the answer is there's no such thing as all in that sense. You have to decide what is your objective. For me, right, as a marketer, I will do self-publishing, right? Because I need my books to help me to build my brand, for lead generation, to sell, and so on. I want to have total control of my books, but it will cost me money because I have to print it by myself. So you have to decide where you want to go from here. If you're someone who is very successful, very famous, because I do not know what you do, perhaps you are, then publisher would want to publish your book, right? And that would remove all hassle whatsoever, because they will do everything for you. Wow, so there we go. That is on KM Tan's session. I'm excited to share this because I do books, right? I do books online, I do books locally, and so on. So it's great that I can share with you some thoughts about this. All right, so I think we will wrap up for this round's session. All right, take care, everybody. See you all.